of the best Christian movies I have ever seen is God's Not Dead. It tells the story of a college student and an evangelical Christian by the name of Josh Wheaton, who enrolls for a philosophy course taught by Professor Jeffrey Radisson, an atheist. Professor Radisson demands his students sign a declaration that God is dead to pass the section of the course. And Josh is the only student who refuses. He states, "I cannot sign the declaration." And so as a result, Professor Radisson requires that Josh debate with him and to let the other students decide whether God is dead or otherwise. In the first two debates, Professor Radisson has counter-arguments for all of Josh's points. And in a defining scene in the movie, Kara, Josh's girlfriend, demands that Josh either sign the declaration or drop Professor Radisson's class, given that continuing to stand up to Professor Radisson will jeopardize his academic future. And when Josh refuses, Kara breaks up with him. Josh, however, continues to stand for what he believes in. And in the final debate with Professor Radisson, all the other students respect the stand Josh has taken by standing with him when he invites them to decide whether God is dead or not. Josh risked being popular and with conviction took a stand and stood strong in the Lord for what he believed in. You know, the essence of a good leader is not whether they are popular, but whether they have a rock-solid conviction to stand up for what is right, and in doing so, are willing to risk their popularity. As the saying goes, only dead fish go with the flow, but it takes a fish with real backbone to swim against the tide. And in our reflections today, we want to ponder for a moment on the courage of Joshua. The courage of Joshua, because Joshua, this younger leader to whom the baton has been passed by that great Old Testament character Moses, who's now exited the stage of history, Joshua has to be strong and he has to be courageous. He's a leader who's been put there by God. And as we read the opening chapter of the book of Joshua, we read these words, "Be strong and courageous, for you shall cause these people to inherit the land that I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous, being careful to do everything according to the law. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Words which Josh Wheaton in God's Not Dead could equally have applied to him. Words which certainly applied to Joshua. And these words that we've read, be strong and courageous, carry the idea of standing firm and strong in the face of opposition. In the midst of the challenge set before Joshua to lead the people toward the promised land, to claim the land, to encounter all the battles he was going to have to deal with, the Lord calls Joshua 3 times, as we read a moment ago, to be strong and to be courageous, to stand firm, Joshua, and to stand strong in the face of opposition. This was going to be no sinecure, Joshua, for an easy life or for an easy ride. This was not going to be a stroll down the Champs-Élysées, not at all. Joshua was going to need great courage to face the enemies of Israel and to lead the people to victory in the promised land. God's challenge to Joshua is for him to stand firm and to stand strong. And God's challenge to Joshua was God's challenge to Josh Wheaton in God's Not Dead, to stand firm and to stand strong in the face of opposition. And God's challenge to Joshua and to Josh is the same challenge which comes to us, to stand firm and to stand strong in the face of opposition. It's not easy to be a Christian in 2026. It's not easy to be a follower of Jesus in 2026. I will never mislead anyone. It's difficult, it's challenging, it's hard. We need to stand firm and to be strong in the Lord. And I believe in these days of great challenges, our culture is changing with all the challenges, with all the opposition that is coming our way. There is a great need for us as people and also as leaders to stand for the Lord, to stand strong for the Lord as Joshua did. Because all around us, there are some Christians and sadly some leaders who have fallen by the wayside because they haven't stood firm and strong in the Lord and in His Word in order to be able to deal with the opposition and the temptations which have come their way. We need people today, Joshua-like leaders who, as they lead churches, as they lead organizations, as they lead groups, will take their stand for the Lord, being strong and courageous in the Lord, as Joshua was. May we today take something of Joshua's courage and stand firm and strong in the Lord. Be strong and courageous is the challenge which God gave to Joshua. Be strong and courageous is the challenge which God gives to us.